How's it, everyone? Welcome to Open Court. I'm Ken, and today's video we are taking a look at the second part of my year-end review. We did the top 5 rackets of 2023, and now we're getting into my top 7 strings that I tried for the first time in 2023. Not all of these strings came out this year. In fact, some of these strings are very old, but I tried them for the first time this year. There were a few disappointments. There was a lot of nice surprises. So without further ado, let's get into my top 7 strings of this year. So number 7, we're starting off with a string that has been on my radar for quite a while, but I never got around to trying it until finally this year. That string is the Dunlop Black Widow. This string is very popular among spin enthusiasts. A lot of people who like that more muted, deader feel a la Babala RPM Blast or Vocal Cyclone like the Dunlop Black Widow. That's why it's at the bottom of my list, because it is a little bit on the deader side. I prefer more crisp, lively playing strings, but the spin potential of the Black Widow is undeniable. It gets great top spin, great slices, and I really liked it especially on the kick serve. I did like it a little bit better from the baseline than at net, because at net I want a little bit more touch, a little bit more feel. The Dunlop Black Widow is definitely more for an aggressive baseliner who likes to wail away from the baseline with their powerful ground strokes. I'm not really that kind of player, but I really like the spin potential of the Dunlop Black Widow, which is why it made my list. I finally got to try it out because it's been on my radar for quite a while. All right, number 6. This is the only synthetic gut / multi-filament on this list. I'm more of a poly player, but this string surprised the hell out of me, and that string is the Prince Lightning Pro. So I'd like to give a quick shout out to Albert Murata from the AM Stringing channel. He's the one that I recommended I try this string. I tried it in a comparison video head to head with my favorite multi-filament string at the time, the Head Velocity MLT. This Prince Lightning Pro has now officially replaced the Head Velocity MLT as my favorite non-poly, excluding natural gut of course. The Prince Lightning Pro is a very crisp playing string. I did not expect that at all. Most nylon multi-filament based strings are very soft, very mushy. They don't give you that stiff, firm, responsive feedback when you strike the ball. The Prince Lightning Pro, I don't know exactly what the construction is, but I feel that crispness every time I strike the ball from the baseline. I loved it in my 1820 2013 Graphene Speed Pro, which also has a very stiff construction. So the Prince Lightning Pro has replaced the Head Velocity MLT as my favorite multi-filament string, primarily because of that crisp feel, which I really like in my strings. All right, now we're getting into the top 5. So number 5 on this list is a string that just came out last year. In fact, this company reached out to me and asked me to review their strings. They were gracious enough to send me a few strings for me to try. And I think they're coming out with another string next year, which I'm looking forward to. But my number 5 string, you guys probably guessed it from what I just said, it's the Restring Zero. So this is very similar to the Dunlop Black Widow. It's a little bit deader playing. It definitely feels stiffer than the Dunlop Black Widow. It's probably one of, if not the stiffest string that I tried this year, but I like that kind of stiff feel because it gives me that firm response. When I strike the center of the string bed, I know exactly where I'm hitting. The deader feel allows me to play a little bit more aggressive from the baseline. I can hit huge returns, step in and take huge swings, and I know the spin potential of the Restring Zero will bring it back down into the court. And the one thing, well, 2 things that stood out more than anything were the snapback and the tension maintenance. This string snapbacks like crazy. I could really feel the string displacing and snapping, and it got tremendous kick on my kick serves, but also crucially, it maintained that snapback for the duration of this playtest, and it barely dropped any tension at all. I'm personally not really strict when it comes to tension maintenance or durability, but this string really goes the extra mile in terms of holding tension, maintaining that snapback, and being very durable. I don't really recommend this string for people with arm issues, sensitive arms, because it is very stiff. I don't have arm issues, so I really like the Restring Zero. I hear they're coming out with another string next year, so I'm really looking forward to trying that. By the way, if you guys are interested in trying the Restring Zero and supporting this channel at the same time, you guys can click on the link below in my description to try out the Restring Zero. I really appreciate your guys' support in that as well. All right, now on to number 4 on this list. This is another string that I tried without much expectation. In fact, I really love a multi-filament synthetic gut from this particular brand, but I've never tried any of their polyester strings. They're a Japanese brand, and that brand is Gosen, and this string, number 4, is the Gosen G-Spin 3. I'm a huge fan of the Gosen OG Sheet Micro Super synthetic gut. It's a very cheap gut, and it plays very well all around durability, tension, playability. It has like all you can ask for in a package, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the G-Spin 3, which is a shaped version of the G-Tour polyester strings. I've never tried any of those, but I tried the G-Spin 3 because I heard that this was the shaped version, and I like shaped strings to get more spin for my kick serve, for my slices, for my aggressive topspin ground strokes, and this G-Spin 3 gave me all of that. And another thing I really liked about this string played a lot crisper than I expected. Very similar to the Prince Lightning Pro or other strings you'll see coming up on this list that are very crisp playing. The G-Spin 3 not only gets that tremendous spin, but it also plays a lot crisper, and I like that for my feel. When I strike the center of my strings with a crisp string, I know exactly where I'm gonna hit the ball. I can paint the lines, the sidelines, I can hit slices that'll land just feet from the baseline, and that's the kind of tennis I like to play. It allows me to play with smaller margins and smaller targets because of the spin and the crisp feel combining together to create that pinpoint precision. The G-Spin 3 is a Japanese brand, and I tried it for the first time in Japan, but you can definitely get it here on Amazon or wherever you can find it. So if you're curious to try it, give it a try. I do want to try the other G-Tour strings in the future. All right, number 3 on this top 7 list. This is a string that you guys, the community, recommended that I try. I put out a community post recommending a string from Terna that I should try, and a lot of you recommended this string, the Terna Big Hitter Silver. I'm so happy I tried this string because it is another crisp and lively playing string similar to Alu Power, which a lot of people said this is Terna's version of Alu Power. I know some people don't really agree with it, but what they mean is that this string's construction is similar to Alu Power in that the Alu in Alu Power is short for aluminum, which is what is used in the string's construction. Same with Terna Big Hitter Silver, it also uses aluminum. And the strings play, in my opinion, they play fairly similarly, although the Terna Big Hitter Silver is at a much cheaper price point. It's under $10. It holds tension much better. The Alu Power tanks in tension after the first play session. The Terna Big Hitter Silver doesn't get a whole lot of spin, but it has that crisp feel, so I can still play my precision, first strike aggressive style of tennis, and I was really happy with that string, and I definitely want to try more from the Terna brand. And spoiler alert, this is not the only Terna string on this list. All right, so now we're into our top 2. The number 2 string on this list is a string by one of my favorite manufacturers, but I was a little bit skeptical to try this because the sub model, the sub line of this string, I'm not a huge fan of. But when it came out and I tried it, it was recommended to me by On Point Sports, the local tennis shop I often go to here in Hawaii. That string is the Head Hawk Power. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Head Hawk Touch. In fact, I really don't like that string at all. I've never tried Head Hawk, although I've heard that string is pretty stiff, and I'm not sure that's going to conform to my playstyle. So I was very skeptical going into the Head Hawk Power playtest, but as soon as I hit a ball with it, I knew it was a lot different than the Head Hawk Touch. The Touch is dead, muted, mushy. I don't like that string at all. It gets no response from my game. The Head Hawk Power is on the completely opposite end of the spectrum. It's a very crisp, very lively playing string, and it has a very satisfying pop. When I strike the center of the string bed, I really feel like the string is launching the ball back with a lot of force. It has good energy return, and that satisfying pop sensation, don't discount that, because that gives players the confidence they need to go for those smaller targets, to aim for corners, to aim for sidelines. And confidence, you know, tennis is 99% mental, maybe 1% physical. That confidence level gives players the ability to play their game, not get tentative, and be able to play the way that they want to. It allows their strategies and their play style to conform well. And the Head Hawk Power did that for me. It doesn't have as much spin as I would like because it's a simple round poly, but it is fairly slick. I think it could be good as a poly cross for a hybrid. but I really liked the power level, the energy return, and that crisp feel of the Head Hawk Power. So I was very surprised with it, and I love that playtest. If you guys haven't tried it out yet, I believe this string was released this year, early this year, along with the Head Radical, the new one. So give the Head Hawk Power a try. All right, we're finally at my number 1 string of 2023. And if you guys have been watching the video up to this point, I said earlier, spoiler alert, Terna would be up here on this list again. And here it is, my number 1 string of this year was the Terna Big Hitter Silver 7 Tour. This was recommended by you guys, the community, as well. A lot of you said that this string plays very similarly to my favorite polyester string, which is the Head Lynx Tour. And I definitely felt that comparison to be true. The downside to this string though is that it has a little bit of a break-in period. The string kind of moves and shifts around. It gets kind of stuck out of place, which is pretty rare for a poly. But once the strings kind of conform and they start to slightly notch a little bit, where the strings will have that path to just move consistently, then the string started snapping back and maintaining that level of consistency that I was expecting. I didn't have that problem with the Terna Big Hitter Silver Original because it's a smooth round poly. Once that break-in period ended, the Silver 7 Tour played amazingly. It feels very similar to the Head Lynx Tour, which is my favorite poly, although I'm not entirely sure I want to replace Lynx Tour yet with Silver 7 Tour. But next year I am going to do a head-to-head versus video comparing the Head Lynx Tour and the Silver 7 Tour. We'll see which one comes out on top. At the moment, I'm still leaning toward Lynx Tour, but it's really that crisp feel that I like from both the Lynx Tour and the Silver 7 Tour, and they're very similar, so I do want to pit them against each other. That crispness gives me the confidence to stay on the gas, especially on the returns. I like to step in, take a short swing, and come over the ball and aim deep. That spin from the Silver 7 Tour and that lively feel give me the pinpoint precision to drop that return right inside the baseline. I also love it when I strike the ball cleanly on a serve because I feel that pop sensation. It feels like my balls are going a little bit faster than they actually are. I found it very easy to follow my serve into the net with this string. I'm a big serve and volleyer, but I also played some singles with this string, and I love trading ground strokes from the baseline as well because that crisp feel is so satisfying when I hit it dead in the center. But at the net, this string played amazing. It gave me all the feel and touch I needed. I could hit my drop shots, drop volleys, angle volleys, short forehand cross-court shots. I just really like this racket from the front court, but I also liked exchanging baseline rallies from the back court. The Silver 7 Tour came out on top this year as my favorite polyester, or not just polyester, but favorite string overall. There might be some recency bias because it was one of the last strings I reviewed of this year, but I really like this string and I was very surprised with it. So thank you to the community for recommending this string to me. I definitely want to try more Turner strings next year as well. So that's it for 2023, guys. My top 7 strings for this year. What are some of your favorite strings that you tried for the first time this year? Please let me know. Please recommend me a lot of strings. I know a lot of you guys give me suggestions and recommendations for strings to try, and I definitely want to try some of those lesser known brands like Grapple Snake, Wasabi, Tourline, things like that. But the problem is, since I'm isolated here in Hawaii, it's hard for me to get those strings. I can't find them anywhere here, and some of the online retailers, they don't ship to Hawaii, or it's very, very expensive. If you guys know a place where I can get them, or better yet, if you guys are willing to send those to me, send me some strings to review, I would love that. Greatly appreciate your support for that, and I can give you guys a shout out on this channel and review the strings that you would like me to. But anyway, it was a great 2023. I'm looking forward to next year, 2024. I do have one more video that I'm working on before the end of this year. It's a special racket review that a friend of mine lent me, so look forward to that. That'll be my last video of 2023. Let's make 2024 another awesome year. Thank you for all your love and support, and as always, if you guys like this content and want to see more, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on an open court.